Hello everybody, Joseph here, and again we're going to be talking about psychic, spiritual and magical things. I got I got a text message today from a friend, and she had a dream last night. Now she doesn't see herself as particularly psychic, very intelligent girl, lovely human being, and in her dream, now she's never been to our house, the central issues of the dream were a bottle of barbecue sauce and a clock that keeps falling off the wall. Now, much to Jessie's chagrin, I love barbecue sauce on everything. Not ice cream, but I haven't tried it yet, so we don't really know. And also we have a clock that continually falls off the wall. Now these are little things, and these are things that I've never discussed this with anybody. We don't even discuss them ourselves. They're just little things. And she picked them up. And I talked to her about this, and she said, but they're such small things. Now to me, it's in the small things where truth and the proof of things lay. Now that wasn't telepathy, because actually a lot of psychic phenomena, including communication with spirits, or some of that anyway, is actually telepathy, picking stuff up out of other people's minds, as opposed to a real connection with a spirit. Now, there was no telepathy involved. And out of all the things about my life she could have picked up, was barbecue sauce and clocks. Now, I said to her, this is very impressive, and she failed to see how. And it's the minutiae, the tiny things of our life, and how could she possibly know? It's sort of wonderful. Now, she said to me, Joseph, yes, but I'll never see the big things like you see. And so firstly I said, well, why not? And secondly I said, they're not as impressive as they seem. Now, in my years of doing this stuff, I think, well, it's developing a talent, developing an ability. And when you first stand out for people to see you doing this work, it's mainly big stuff. So it's the only stuff you can sense. You can sense wars, you can sense car crashes, mother-in-laws visiting, all these sorts of disasters. You can sense those big things. But it's the little things. It's as the Bible calls it, the still small voice. It's the little sounds between the big sounds. That's where the wisdom is. That's where the heart of psychic ability and doing readings lay. Now, it's sometimes people such as I, we can say or do or point out things that are really, really quite impressive. And to people from the outside, they've told me, they think, wow, how extraordinary. And they see it like some sort of amazing fireworks inside your head. It's anything but. It's anything but. For example, I saw a client a while back, and she was waiting for a payout for an injury. Wanted to know if she should do it now or wait a while. And I said, I reckon they're the sort of people that'll offer you $400,000. And the next day she got a phone call saying that they're making a final offer of 400 grand. Of course she took this. Now, in my mind, when I thought about it, it was just like a vague thought in the back of my mind. It felt true though, but it was vague. It wasn't like, it wasn't like a drum band coming forward and saying, look at this. It's not like that. It's hardly ever like that. It's the little things that drift in. And to learn this stuff, you have to learn to still yourself and to feel the very, very fine things. It's like if you watch piano players, experts who play the most beautiful music, it's the little tiny fine noises and the sounds they make that are the heart of the beauty. I mean, there's lots of people all over the world, 12-year-old kids no doubt, who can play the piano really quite well. Clunk, 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 clunk. But it's those little tiny fine noises that most of us probably aren't even consciously aware of. They're the things that help someone become great at something, to improve what you do. Now the Native Americans, as long as other shamanic cultures, along with them, they look for omens. They look for tiny things, like a little bird that seems out of place, and it's sort of looking at them. Somebody turning up, a relative they haven't seen for a long time. A change in the way the wind's blowing through the trees. Little things that to anybody on the outside might seem irrelevant or nonsense even. This is how the universe, or whatever is behind the universe, speaks to us through these very, very faint, very, very gentle things. In nearly all cultures, if you have a holy person, a monk, or someone who's tried to learn and express these deeper things, they live in the wilderness. They live in caves in the Himalayas or way out in the mountains somewhere or in the wilderness. And there's a reason for this. For people like us, there's background noise. Like where we live is quite lovely, it's quite nice, despite the neighbours. I would personally rather live further out, though it's not practical at the moment, somewhere quiet, with very, very few people around. Mainly because when I'm going to sleep at night, I can feel their thoughts. First of all, it just feels like a slight alteration in the things around me, in my emotions. I spend a lot of my effort and time blocking stuff. When I'm doing readings, I want to make myself still and quiet and be absolutely open. When I'm not reading, I don't want to know. I don't want to see people in the street with a feeling of death around them. And I don't want to be going to sleep at night and feeling other people's grief or sorrow or anger. So, people who are learning stuff, people who are developing their abilities, they tend to go somewhere quiet and beautiful. I'm sure many of you do too. A walk along the beach, somewhere lovely where you can just let that stillness touch you, or beautiful music. And that's how this stuff works. Many psychics have made this into a sort of a priesthood. You know, we're amazing, we can do this stuff. I'm not going to tell you ordinary scum of the earth how to do it because we're very important. That's what we experts call bullshit. Many, many of you, if not all, you have something there. But it's just learning to put the time and the effort into it and just becoming aware of the small things, those little tiny things that we miss because of the modern world that we live in. Now, I would encourage you all to reach out and to find and feel the things around you, the loveliness, the animals and the birds and the sky and the trees. And I'm sure you make a difference to the world. So please be kind to yourself. Blessings on all of you.